Thank you.
Okay.
Stole it from Renee.
Yes, I know where that came from.
He said they just make them ugly.
Well, you gotta have style when you're up here.
Yeah, right.
Sure. Gotta set the tone. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't have my seersucker jacket, but you know, I have a pen with it.
Yeah.
My wife said, it's Memorial Day, Labor Day. It's not Easter. I said, this is South Florida. It's
Yeah, you can wear it year round. It's
Yeah.
South Florida.
I'll watch some of the championship polls. It was fun.
We're ready to start the meeting. I'm going to do a roll call and then we have to reorganize. Mrs. Power? Here. Mrs. Orthwine? Mr. Lyons?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Glennon?
Here.
Also present and participating are Town Manager Dunham, Assistant Town Attorney Nazaro, and myself. Absent is Bob Doherty. Also, Mr. Roach has stepped down from the board after 10 years of serving. But he is here in the audience. Thank you for your service. So we will be moving an alternate up, but that will be happening at the next commission meeting.
So at this point, we'll entertain a motion to appoint someone as a chairman. It would need to be a full member. So if there's anyone that would like to volunteer or make a nomination.
I'd like to nominate Paul Lyons, who's served in that capacity many times over many years. And if he would be willing to accept, I think he'd be a good chairman.
Thank you for that kind nomination. Yes, I would accept it.
All right. So we have a nomination. Are there any other nominations? All right. Hearing none, we can go ahead and proceed to a vote. We have a nomination to appoint Paul Lyons as the chairman. You want a roll call, Renee?
Mrs. Power?
Yes.
Mrs. Orthwine?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Glennon?
Enthusiastic, yes. Yes. With them.
So with that, we're now looking for the appointment of a vice chairman. Do we have any nominations for anyone to serve as the vice chairman?
Well, as chairman, I would recommend Mr. Tom Smith.
Thank you. I'd be willing to serve.
All right. Are there any other nominations for vice chairman? Hearing none, Renee, can you please call the roll to nominate Tom Smith as the vice chairman of ARPB?
Mrs. Power?
Yes.
Mrs. Orthwine?
Yes.
Mr. Lyons?
Yes.
Mr. Glennon?
Yes.
With that, I'm happy to hand it over to our chairman, Mr. Paul Lyons.
Thank you. I think we'll move to the minutes. Any additions, revisions? If not, could I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Mrs. Power?
Yes.
Mrs. Orthwine?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Glennon?
Yes.
Chairman Lyons?
Yes. Are there any additions, withdrawals, deferrals, arrangement of agenda items?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Our next meeting is on May 22nd. And please coordinate with Renee with your summer schedule so that we can make certain that we always have a quorum, because I don't like to see meetings not held. Thank you. Any ex parte communication on applications for today?
Nope.
If none, thank you. Whoever's going to speak, would you administer the oath?
Stand and raise your right hand, please. You're going to speak today. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Make sure I get your names as you speak for the record.
So I think, what is the first agenda item today? Maybe the only one. I think it's,
El Cortillo.
yeah, I would think it would be the El Cortino property. So if they want to speak, would be great. Thank you.
Good morning. Dustin Mizell with Environment Design Group Landscape Architects in Palm Beach, Florida. Behalf of El Cortillo Condominium, thank you for allowing us to be on the agenda this morning. Just want to introduce who's going to speak and what they're going to talk about, and then we'll wrap it up as quick as possible. After I do the introductions here, Valeria Quintanera, the architect for my office, is just going to come just do a quick 1-minute touch point of what we had presented to you last month. And then after that, Eric Smith, who is the property manager for El Cortijo, is going to come just talk about the logistics of the refuse, how it's picked up, how the company handles it, and the timing and the hours. Then Bob Roper, who is the board president, is going to come and speak on behalf of the board. And then also Dr. Foote is here as well, just to share just a couple things about his residency there for many years. And then I'll come and finalize some additional exhibits and information and some thoughts we had to mitigate some of your concerns that we heard last month. Okay? If that's all right with you, Valeria is going to come and just touch point real quick. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Valeria Quintanilla. Last month, I came and presented to you the relocation of the trash enclosure for El Cortijo. And after the presentation, there were some comments on regards to the material that we were using, if it was durable enough, and also how the access to North Ocean Boulevard was going to affect the way that it's being served. So after that presentation, we regrouped with the client, Mr. Bob Roper, and we compare how this is being affected, and that's why we're coming back today to present to you with additional exhibits.
I'm Eric Smith. I'm the property manager for the El Cortijo condominium. It's 24 units down in the south end of town. We have 2 dumpsters and some recycle containers, 4. They get picked up twice a week. Well, the garbage actually gets picked up twice a week and recycled once. My guards take the garbage from the garbage rooms in the garage and put them in the dumpsters and then roll the dumpsters out at night. And then sometime during the next day, the garbage collection happens. We're not really sure what time of day that happens. We have to kind of keep an eye on the bins while they're out there. But while they're out at the street, there's a little notch in our parking lot that allows for the bins to be out of the traffic lane. But as you come up to the driveway to exit to go either north or south, it's a bit of a vision block. And you have to pull out a little bit into the north lane to see the cars coming from that direction. So it's a little dangerous. So that's basically the situation.
I'm Bob Roper, and I'm the president of the El Cortijo Homeowners Association. And I thank you for letting us take a second crack at this. To give you a little bit of a background, 2 years ago, the owners voted in a new board that was committed to being more proactive in some enhancements and improvements both to the building and the property. And as a start to that program, we did a survey of our 24 owners in terms of what do they consider to be the priorities that we would want to have in terms of consideration. And amongst the top was the garbage collection. First and foremost, for the safety aspects of it, is Eric had just referenced, when you're pulling out of or egressing from El Cortijo, when the garbage is out, you have to almost inch your way out into the northbound traffic in order to see what's coming from the southbound. And I myself has had sometime you pull out too soon or not soon enough, and that I think it's an accident waiting to happen. Also, it's an eyesore. I think we're probably the only property, certainly the only condominium property in Gulfstream that actually has their collection right there in front of their front entrance. So that was something that we wanted to address as part of an overall enhancement to our west side landscape, which is basically the front end of our building. And since we had that patch of land, real estate just north of us, we felt that might be an opportunity to alleviate our egress problem and do it in a way that would not jeopardize any of the view from A1A. And so we had hired an environmental design group to do that overall thing. And that was one of the asks that we had, is they take that into consideration as part of their proposal. So I think you heard some of that proposal last time, and we're here to answer any further questions you may have. And thank you very much for your time.
My name is Bruce Foote, and I thank you for giving me the time to speak. I've been a resident of El Cortillo for 28 years, and it's always been a problem, but especially now with more traffic and with the proposed closing of the bridge next year, it's going to be a real problem, because every time you pull out and when the garbage bins are out, um, it's a danger. As I say, in the 28 years I've been there, there's been a few times that I've just didn't see somebody coming, and it was a near accident. Um, the proposal that they came up with is something I've dreamed about for a long time. I've always wondered why somebody didn't do something about this much sooner than what we're requesting to have it done. Thank you.
Thank you. What we're looking at here, just to kind of regroup, sheet L3, you can see the current trash location or refuse area, excuse me, in the northwest corner. As Bob mentioned, I'm not aware of any other condominiums that have to push it to the street. The issue is the circulation. You can't pull the large trucks into this parking lot and then get out in any kind of way at all. I have a Toyota Tundra truck and I have to do a 3-point turn just to make that radius there towards the north. So the cans have to be pushed to the street. When you look at sheet 3.1, and Renee, if you don't mind advancing that, we went ahead and put some standard visibility triangles that FDOT recommended. The issue is, if you're pulling out and you're trying to go southbound, which would be to the left, you have to have enough visibility to see the cars coming from the north. And as Eric mentioned, the property manager, the cans, the refuse bins have to be pushed far enough to the street to be able to get out of the width of the throat of the driveway so cars can come. So the visibility problem is, typically nothing taller than 18 inches can be in a visibility triangle. These are well over 4 feet tall. So the safety issue, it's a little bit of a self-imposed as far as we have limitations on the site. The trucks can't pull off the road to get them. We've got to push them close enough to the street, because if not, then the driveway's not wide enough. So by the time we do that, when you're in a car, you're seeing the face of the bin as opposed to the people coming southbound. So the danger is you pull southbound, you don't see anybody, you can get sideswiped. I'm surprised there hasn't been, an accident yet. It's a legitimate concern. We've heard that not just from board president, but from other residents and members as well. So we just threw those visibility triangles down there. And as Eric mentioned, there's never a certain time that the truck's going to come. So it's got to be put out the night before. They could come first thing in the morning. They could come more towards midday. So it becomes, a problem for at least a half day, 2 to 3 times a week. So moving forward to sheet 4.0, you can see what we're proposing is to put doors on the back side, which would be the west side, modify the landscaping there, and do a reinforced lawn connection so that those bins could be rolled out to the street from that side, in the grass, and not have to be anywhere in the visibility triangle. In that exhibit, you can see kind of where that dash line is. They would just be eastward of the dash line. So even if we push them out, they're still out of what would be a full DOT visibility triangle. Sheet L.5, L5.0, a little bit of a blow up, you can see better. And it would have like this little soft curve to it. So as you're coming northbound, heading northbound, excuse me, all you'll see is the enhanced landscaping. As you're heading southbound, you certainly wouldn't see it either. You'd have to turn your head at the exact 45 degree at any point to be able to even see that this was an entrance to someplace. Some of the questions was the durability. What we would use is a product called Grass Pave 2. It's a corrugated honeycomb type system that's placed in the soil. The grass is laid on top. And what that ensures is that the grass is sustainable. See, what kills grass is not a weight of the blades being pushed down. What kills the grass is when soil is compacted. So when people walk on the same path, you see at a college campus, you see a little Indian trail almost. It's every time you walk and you compress soil, oxygen and air can't get in the soil. So what happens is this honeycomb system displaces the weight of anything, and then the soil doesn't get compressed or compacted, so the grass does fine. If you look at sheet L 6.0, you see fire trucks. A lot of times municipalities will use this in situations where they don't want to see hardscape, they don't want to see a designated path for whatever reason, and you can drive fire trucks on it, because again, the weight is displaced on the subsurface honeycomb system, so the grass is sustainable. So that's what we would use, but visually, as you drive by, you don't see a hardscape path, you don't see a delineation of a refuse landing, you just see grass that's consistent with all the other grass in the swale. You don't see the subsurface, which allows us to push it and also won't kill the grass because it displaces the weight. And when you look at sheet L 7.0, thank you, Renee, for your help, you can see the amount of landscaping we're going to do. We're going to really, enhance it up, beef it up. It's part of our curb appeal approach to the whole project anyways. And, on behalf of El Cortillo, our commitment is, if you would consider this, that, it's going to be significantly enhanced with landscaping. It will not be visible from public right of way. And we're going to do the right subsurface so the grass is sustainable. And at any point, if the grass was ever to decline, it could even be a conditional approval, we will be committed to replacing it. So when you look at sheet, I would skip ahead to L 8.0. That's our desired intensity. That, all you see from the right of way is the planting, the grass along the right of way just kind of turns into a little node. I mean, nobody would even know it was an entrance. It's just kind of like a little pocket of the grass. In sheet 8.1, we kind of ghosted the refuse area in the back there. So again, thank you for listening to it again yesterday. Mr. Nazaro had called our office and said, well, what changes had you made after review them? And so we explained to him that it was less about changes. It was more about more information to you, and also having some of the residents and also the property manager speak, and also to rethink how we could really make this not look at all like it's a traverse. It's just a little bit of a relief in the landscape, and then our commitment to using the right products would be sustainable. So I appreciate Mr. Nazaro the opportunity to present today. And so it's really more of a reconsideration and importance of that. It's not aesthetic at all. Nobody's going to see this. It's not pretty. It's just going to disappear into the landscape. So it's not something that sometimes people come to you and say, well, it's a hardship, but they just want it to look nice. It's not in any way. We do feel like that it's a true hardship for safety. Visibility as well. I mean, to drive by and see these for 3 times a week, half a day, is not aesthetically pleasing. But the bigger thing, as Dr. Foote mentioned, is really the safety. And I know Mr. Roper as well is speaking on behalf of the other residents. So thank you for the consideration, and happy to answer any questions.
Okay, so I live across the street from El Cortillo, and I agree that they're unsightly when they're out, but it does look like that in slide 3.1 that there's a fairly large space for those giant trucks to get there to at least lift those bins and pull them up. If instead you were going to pull, when and how are you going to pull those bins out across that grassy area? Are they going to stay on the side there, and then the truck pulls up in front of them, blocking the whole lane on A1A? You're going to drag the bin out, and who's going to do that?
Well, good question. Well, right now, they don't pull in at all. They block the road, right now traffic, and then they roll them from the existing driveway apron to the street themselves.
So they don't come on that shaded area there now and lift them up?
They block the traffic right now. So it'd be the same thing. It's just, if you look at sheet 5.0, you see the little dash line in the gray. We would leave it just eastward of there, so it's out of the visibility for our residents, and then they would literally just push it the remaining 6 feet like they do now. But the thing is, the good thing is, if they were just east of that visibility line, which is the dash line, even if they stayed out a half a day, it wouldn't be visible by people driving by because it'd be tucked in that little landscape niche.
So I think the spirit of what we had talked about the last time was looking at alternatives, right, that would not accept access directly on A1A. Did you really look at all of the options that you've got with all of the space in terms of how you could actually maybe change your entrance so that you could have the trash pickup back in like it does to other buildings and access, the storage facility?
Yeah, good question. And we did. And we looked at this even before you asked us to last month in our initial studies. And there's just no way of that we've been able to find that would compromise the loss of any parking, which we can't lose. I mean, if we could lose parking, which we can't, I mean, it's just not possible.
So we do have a new waste hauler, so now would be an opportune time to reach out to them and make sure that what they're doing is safe. And maybe if there is another way to do it, we would certainly have a discussion with them and direct them to reach out to the property manager and have some sort of meeting. They've been very responsive so far, so to alleviate maybe some issues with the safety concerns, we can address that sort of with a contractor directly.
Because we do have backdoor service. So my thought is that they go in and get the bins and bring them out.
I'm sorry, Renee, I didn't hear that.
I think they should go in and get the bins and bring them out. They shouldn't have to bring the bins out. It's unsightly.
From there.
Yeah. I mean, we do have backdoor service. Y'all pay for backdoor service. So they should go get the bins and bring them out. They shouldn't have to sit them out there.
If I may respond, I agree with everything you're saying. I think the bigger issue is what would end up happening is because I don't think with the circulation we have in the building, it's so tight in the angle, since they can't physically get the trucks in there and get out, that if they would go backdoor service, they would have to block the traffic for an extended period of time because they'd have to come into the property and push the bins themselves, extent of our parking lot, and come out. So it would just block traffic longer.
But we all experience, I'm the only one here that lives in an apartment. That's part of life in an apartment when the garbage is being picked up. It's going to block your traffic and you're going to have to sit and wait 5 minutes. That's how it goes. That's it.
Yeah, it's very unsightly now, as you say, and I agree that you don't know whether they're coming at 7 in the morning or at noon. Maybe it would help if they knew that. I don't know if they set the schedule yet. So when we talk to them, Trey, it may be good if we find out when they are going to be there. I still think they're actually studying traffic patterns themselves. So maybe if they knew that you could wheel them out and it was between 7 and 8 in the morning, it would be fine. But I agree, they're there for sometimes half of a day, twice a week, which is a long time. And they are unsightly. I see these are coastal bins, so these are new bins that they've already delivered to you.
Yeah.
I think that we'd be smart to wait and talk to coastal and see what they would or would not do in terms of access. They've said I live down a drive that's 400 feet before you get to the house, and they don't want to come back in there, but they're coming back in there because it's contractually binding in our agreement with the town. So I think it isn't a question of will they're going to have to do it, but we should find out. Maybe they could pin you down to a specific time so that you knew, and maybe they would wheel the bins themselves. I think that we want to find out that before we pass on this. I don't know. I think the consensus now would be that we're not in favor of it. So we're trying to find a solution for you other than just saying no.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Is the anticipated time that the truck would have to stop and block A1A traffic the same, same as current? Do you anticipate it being quicker in your proposal, or or about the same amount of time that A1A would be blocked?
Right. Good question. In our proposal, same, it'd be de minimis. I think in the idea of them coming in themselves and we go over there, it would significantly extend it. And I guess I would just ask the question, like, I know you were against it last month. I hear the tone today. Just for me, I guess if you could, I'm asking this in a very respectful way, if we can just get some more feedback on why it's so, not desirable or not thought of as a good approach. I mean, what we're saying today is we have to push them to the street. Not going to block the road for 10 minutes or whatever, how long it's going to take for them to come, unlatch the gate, mobilize them, move them, and just continue to impact other residents. And they're unsightly. You saw the photo, and we're literally going to hide them in landscaping. And so if I have more clarity on the pushback, it might help us as well. I just know you're against it. I don't know why.
So I did a little research on AASHTO, which is the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials, and they establish national standards for road safety and design. And your idea violates a lot of what they would suggest doing. It requires a large vehicle to cross into opposing traffic lanes and then reversing backwards. It also, they generally like trash trucks to be able to enter going forward and exit going forward as well. So a lot of times if there's an accident that happens, courts will look at whether we followed excuse me, ASHTO design principles. So I feel like it could create a liability for the town if we went ahead and approved it as is.
Right, I understand. But I want to be clear, what we're proposing doesn't change what they're doing now. They stop in the street, they push the bins, and then they lift them and they push them back. I mean, it would be the same program.
Don't they have to back into the pathway?
No, they literally stop traffic and they do all this in the middle of the street. And right, so to your point, it's true, but that's not the way it's operated now. And so as they're stopping traffic, now for them to walk through the parking lot, unlatch the gate, do everything, bring that, and then they've got to bring them back. I mean, I don't know if that's 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I'm not trying to exaggerate, but I mean, that's the whole, that's like another bridge closing.
Aside from Jamaica Square, are there any other buildings that bring their trash straight to the street?
Bob, are you familiar with any?
Well, I think Jamaica Square, which is just south of us, has got a fence there, and they open that fence and take their garbage in there.
And I think all the other buildings, the trash truck pulls in to the building and is off the street during this time, not obstructing traffic on A1A. Because it's only the buildings that have these big bins that actually take time to be lifted and put in. So my personal stance.
What I wonder about is the ideal situation for your residents and for the town would be to have that big vehicle go into your property, turn around, pick up the garbage and leave. And as you enter off A1A, you have these islands. I don't know what's exactly in the middle of all those things. But isn't a way that you could create a way for the truck to come in, make a turn, maybe have to back up once or twice, and then pick up the garbage from its existing location?
Yeah.
If you were to start from scratch, if you didn't have anything there, could you create a path where the truck could actually come in, turn around, pick it up?
If we were starting from scratch, it potentially could work. But since we're not, one, we would lose parking. And then the pinch point is at the north corner there, where all the existing transformers and utilities are. And then that's the pinch point for them to be able to mobilize. I mean, I guess we could meet with the company, meet with the truck, have them go through the project. I don't think that's been done yet.
Maybe I could.
I need you to go to the microphone, sir.
Having been a resident there now for 6 years, right now we have about 12 spots for visitor parking. And when you come in, immediately when you come into El Cortillo, you make a right-hand turn, that goes down into the underground parking. And we have 6 spots on one side of that median and 6 spots on the other side of that median. We also have a big electrical transformer that's down at the most east portion of that. And so we have a very tight turn. I think it would be almost impossible for a big to come in on the left side and turn around. There's just not enough room for that. If we had smaller trucks, you might be able to get around the turn between the transformer and which is covered by landscape so that we don't see it. But we're undergoing concrete restoration right now, and we've had large trucks in there. And what's happened is a lot of the stonework for our sidewalks that go along there have all been chipped and whatnot. So we were reluctant to try to we'd have to, I guess, move the transformer and re-landscape that whole area to try to get a bigger turn radius to make it to allow a larger truck to come through there. And I think we're trying to avoid that. I think, from my own perspective and having looked at the environmental design group plan, we thought that this was sort of a win-win because we weren't creating any more traffic on A1A than we currently have. we eliminate the sightly factor of the bins being out there and the traffic. And we haven't, we thought we were doing it in a way that would be more attractive, frankly, to the traffic that comes and goes along A1A.
And just thinking about one thing, I'll step away from Mike to show you the screen, where I don't think it's logistically possible, is when you come in right here, they can't make this turn. Potentially, they could make this with a 2 or 3 point. The pinch point is all the equipment, the utility transformer, and this is a porte cochere. The building hangs over. It's impossible to get there. So I have a Toyota Tundra and I have to do 3 points to get around there. So I'm not pushing back. You asked, is it possible? I don't think it is. That's.
So in the interest of disclosure, my father actually owned a condo in El Cortillo, and I lived there, or he lived there for 20 plus years, was an upstairs neighbor of Dr. Foote. And I will say that the parking lot is very narrow and hard to maneuver, even if there were two larger cars that are trying to like pass one another, it's more or less impossible, let alone for a large truck. And over 20 years of seeing that, it is very hard to get trucks to maneuver in that state. Even like a pickup truck to maneuver in that parking lot is rather difficult. So I sympathize with the fact that the parking lot is currently constructed is hard to maneuver in. Does the current trash pickup block both lanes or like both directions of A1A, or is it only currently one?
No,
Just one.
Eric, how long does it really take to walk those bins from where they are out to the street? I mean, is it 3 minutes, 5 minutes?
I guess maybe 4 minutes,
They don't
5
roll.
minutes.
They don't roll really easy, do they?
When they're full, they are quite a chore to, I'm over 250 and I put my full weight behind it and start, so it does take some time to get it out there. It's quicker coming back, but you have to control it. Those things can get away from you because the boxes are pretty heavy for themselves, empty. So I would say probably 4 minutes to get them out and maybe 2 minutes to put them back.
It would seem that we should take the time to talk to Coastal Resources and put a little bit of the question on them if they can have them go back there and grab them and wheel them out to the street. There's a little bit of space in the front there in your 3.1 thing where you've highlighted the sight lines where that truck could actually maybe pull, parallel to the road right in front of you, waiting for the guys to jump out and get the bins. So, I mean, I think we should wait and see if they could do that. It would solve your problem. You wouldn't have to leave them out there all day. They would bring them out. You see in 3.1, you got that shaded area. Maybe if the truck could pull into that shaded area, still parallel to the road, but wait for the men or women to pick up the bins and bring them out. I'd like to see if they would do that before we made a decision, maybe.
Yeah, I'm
Chairman.
I'm in favor of trying to accommodate
Yeah, I want to help them too.
the neighbors in the community, because there has been some expression by neighbors that they don't really care for this new proposal. On the other hand, I'd like to address the concerns of your residents. And if we could do it by some logistics, that's kind of a win-win, in my opinion. And I believe there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to, within some narrow window. Renee, I don't know what this is, Paul, who deals with pickup?
We could definitely talk to Coastal.
But I mean, I would hope that we could coordinate with.
I believe it's as much as just telling them, not asking them. We tell them because it's in our contract for backdoor service.
I'm not sure that I like the idea of meeting with them and looking at different alternatives first. Because I'm sure there's something that we may not be looking at this point in time, but I would be in favor of doing that. I'm sorry that might take another meeting, but I mean, that would be my recommendation.
Because as you said, we have had complaints from neighbors. So
So are you willing to defer to the next meeting, and in the interim, staff and your property manager can work
I
together?
mean, I've got them, see, I don't remember if this is a front end loader or back end loader. I think it's a front end loader.
Front.
Yeah.
Front. And there's probably only 2 people on that truck, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So, by contract, I think it's
There's
3.
We have 3. That was
Okay.
one of the reasons we went with Coastal. There's
Okay.
3.
And it will take all 3 of those to obviously move
They're trying.
that bend. So,
Well, Chairman Lyons, to your question, yeah, I that would be fine. I think if we could just, and we can coordinate this with town staff, but we could meet with Coastal on site,
right.
and a couple things. One, see if they could even maneuver a truck any differently. We can do that in the site. We can time, okay, how long does it take for you to park your truck, go there, come back, and then we'll have the information. 1, they can do it, yes or no. 2, it took them 15 minutes. Traffic was stopped for 15 minutes. Our residents couldn't get out. And then you guys can weigh in at what's better, what's worse.
And we can also talk about the timing as to when they make these pickups. I don't know if we might be able to establish a time that's more.
No, we'd be more than willing to
repetitive.
defer it, have that conversation with them, coordinate with staff, and then leave with a denial today for sure.
I think Eric would know, they're not predictable yet. I mean, they were predictable before. They came like at 8 o'clock in the morning or something, but now they come randomly between 7 in the morning and noon. I think it's just still setting the routes, so practicing. The other thing is if there's 3 men on the truck, they may let somebody off of the truck on the way south to wheel the bins out, and then they're there when they come back. I don't know. I think we talked to Coastal. I met with a woman already from Coastal, was fantastic and was very accommodating. You probably have spoken to her too. So I think that she'd meet with you on site. We can talk to her about it.
Yeah, and we'll coordinate that with staff.
Okay.
Excellent. So I think we'll make a motion to defer it.
Okay.
I'll second.
I'll make
I
a
need a
motion to defer the application until our next meeting on May 22nd.
Second.
Renee?
Mrs. Power,
Yes.
Mrs. Orthwine,
Yes.
Mr. Glennon,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Lyons.
Yes.
Good. Thank you for your patience, cooperation on this.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay.
Mr. Lyons?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me get something to work.
I think that's it, right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
Trey or Greg, do you have anything?
And just that when we have an application that doesn't follow the directive of the board, like we had in this case, where they were directed specifically to to eliminate the entrance on A1A, it puts staff in a difficult position because obviously now we have, everyone that lives in the property coming in to testify, and they really want to get their opportunity. So I just was hoping that I could get some instruction from staff to staff rather, that this is an acceptable way to manage the application and really put it to you, or should we just not process the application and say you already had your opportunity? We need to see an entrant, we need to see an application that meets that in the future. It puts us in a tough position where the ARPB says, make it, just so it's very black and white. No, you cannot have a 2-story house, make it 1 story. And then they come in with a revised 2-story house. I mean, what does staff do? Do we just say, okay, well, they're refusing to meet it, but here's their application? Or, should we, say, no, this application doesn't meet the requirements of the ARPB set. You were already denied a 2-story house. Again, just, by way of example, and we're going to have to make you wait for another meeting, so just, some instruction on that. If you feel like it was handled appropriately, great. If you feel like we should be a little bit more strict with your direction in the future.
Well, in my opinion, I listened to I wasn't able to attend that last meeting, but I listened to the video. And it's very clear to me that the residents, other than El Cortino,
we're not in favor of this. Our code on certain size properties require that you have your garage to the side, not in front. And so putting some gates in front of a garbage dump on A1A, I'm not in favor of. Now, I think we just have to work through whether it was another way. And I think there is another way. And I think we communicated that clearly, that you have to figure out another way. But I think you handle it consistent with what the ARPB expressed at the meeting.
Okay, all right.
But I also think that we should go overboard to try to accommodate. And the most particularly, have a fair hearing with everybody's had their opportunity to speak.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to change, but they had that opportunity. So,
Yeah, I mean, my opinion is they had the opportunity twice, Paul, right? So they came back, we were very clear with them, and then they basically presented the exact same plan again with no change. So to me, that's a little bit
Neil may be right,
frustrating,
Trey.
right?
Maybe we should have just
It's a
said
waste.
to them, we're not going to entertain anything that opens onto A1A, and then
Right.
they can decide what they're going to do. We
That's
maybe should have done that, but I should get that hint. I mean, I don't think
That's
anything
fair.
we said today is,
Yeah.
we're talking about how they can get the containers out there without a new entrance. I don't see we're going to do that. But were we wrong? Not wrong, but should we have told them that?
Well, with benefit of hindsight, maybe. I mean, they asked a fair question with the planning that they're proposing, with the path that goes a little to the right and back in. Would you see it from the street? They're claiming you won't. I'm not sure that's a legitimate assumption. But if you don't see it from the street, and there's some safety issues, and the way it's working now, I mean, the logistics have to change anyway. Having those dumpsters out there for the night before, maybe it doesn't get picked up until 4 o'clock the next day is awful. So, and I think it's good news is we're going to address the logistics. And I think your point on, apartment living can sometimes be inconvenient. I mean, it's just,
part of the
it is
deal.
what it is. I mean, it's life.
Right.
So, in any case, any other discussion? Any other items from staff?
No, sir. Thank you.
That concludes our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Curtis.
Terry, you should